Wherever the banners of mercy fly, you will find the greatest mother, the American Red Cross. From every city, town, and hamlet, from national headquarters, she stretches forth a helping hand to those in disaster, sickness, or human need, inspired by the spirit of service. The Jane Delano Memorial, standing in the garden of national headquarters, symbolizes this spirit, typical of the unselfish devotion of Red Cross nurses who follow in her footsteps. To isolated communities beyond the reach of hospitals and ordinary medical service, the public health nurse is an angel of mercy. By her watchful care, she has saved countless lives, bringing relief from pain and torment to the sick and helpless everywhere. In the wilderness, she and her co-workers carry on to aid the afflicted in the face of hardships that would daunt the most courageous. She is indeed a modern pioneer of health, conquering the last frontier of dread disease. In the city as in the country, you will find her at the bedside of the stricken, and by her work she has eased their suffering, helping to check the spread of serious illness. In her daily work, she embodies the highest ideals of American womanhood, the heroine of many a tragic drama, winning her fight against despair and death. Another activity of the public health nurse is in the schools, where 500,000 children are visited and inspected each year. Instruction in home hygiene and care of the sick is given in thousands of communities. The care of babies is but part of this course, which has taught mothers and housewives the best methods of raising their families and keeping them well and happy. It is more than domestic first aid. It is a lesson of self-help, which has improved local public health and prevented serious illness in many a family. From tending to babies, it is but a step to tending those who need care whatever their age. And by passing the required practical tests, the successful students are received into a noble sisterhood of neighborly service, receiving their certificates from such prominent Red Cross workers as Mrs. Henry P. Davison. The employment of thousands of men on gigantic public works has placed a heavy responsibility on the government to protect these men against the hazards of their jobs. And the enrollment of thousands of youths in the Civilian Conservation Corps has made a safety program essential. The Red Cross has played its part by instructing groups in first aid, showing what to do for major injuries before the doctor comes, so that every man, be he in camp or wilderness, at home or on the highways, is assured of quick and proper care if he is injured. By holding classes like this in life-saving the year round, the Red Cross teaches thousands how to meet an emergency. After seeing how rescues are made, the pupils get a chance to try their hand at it. So that the cry of help will never be in vain, the Red Cross has trained 500,000 lifesavers. Not only must he save his man, he must know how to revive him. Never give up is the motto of the lifesaver, and no matter how far gone the victim may be, the rescuer will work on to restore the breath of life if it is humanly possible. Women volunteers in sewing groups from Maine to California make garments that are supplied to the distressed. Many families have been aided, many children have been clothed through the efforts of these self-sacrificing volunteers. In military hospitals, Red Cross social workers help with those personal and family problems which are retarding recovery. Gray ladies, who are trained Red Cross volunteers, lighten long, tedious hours of convalescence. The Red Cross is the veteran's friend. It assists disabled ex-servicemen in obtaining benefits from the government and provides service and relief for their families while the claims are being adjusted. Grateful veterans everywhere can tell of the helping hand they have received. Books for the blind are prepared by volunteers of many chapters, so that those who live in eternal darkness may have their lives brightened and broadened by the greatest mother. To those who have lost their sight, the Red Cross, with its books printed in Braille, is the light that never fails. It brings them back into touch with the world they have lost. young America has learned the value of this great human institution. Answering the annual enrollment, 7 million school children join the Junior Red Cross every year, young citizens imbued with the spirit of real service. Their helpfulness, their desire to be useful to others, is a living lesson in unselfishness. What children give to one another is not charity, but sharing. Children in hospitals find long hours shortened and dull days brightened by remembrances from the juniors. The Weather Bureau warning is a call to arms for the American Red Cross. Hours, sometimes days before a disaster actually occurs, its reports of impending hurricane or flood are flashed to headquarters. Wires hum, words are converted into action, mobilization for relief begins, and the Army of Mercy prepares for another winning battle against distress. Detailed plans are worked out to provide speedy and efficient relief to sufferers from such disasters as spring floods. When the mighty Mississippi goes on a rampage of destruction, sweeping all before it, engulfing towns and countryside, it is a challenge which the Red Cross must meet. Hurricanes, which spread havoc far and wide, dealing death on the wings of the wind, are another of nature's savage outbreaks that leave desolation and misery in their wake. Storms which batter our coasts bring their SOS calls not only from the sea, but from the shore. Regardless of whence they come, all cries for help must be answered. Our Army, Navy, and Coast Guard work in close cooperation with the protector of our people. They know its value in peace as in war. They rush aid in the air and by sea, taking Red Cross medical supplies, food, and clothing to stricken areas. When the emergency comes, the Red Cross provides shelter, guards against epidemic, and gives prompt aid to the sick and injured. This task of unselfish service to stricken communities goes on year in and year out, without fanfare, without spectacular show. But it has saved the lives of untold thousands, young and old. It could not stop the destruction of property, but it could prevent the destruction of human lives. Rescue is only the first step in providing relief. Skilled directors in the field lead the battle against disasters suffering. With houses underwater to the very rooftops for miles around, floodwaters menace life. Here is the actual rescue of a woman and child who were marooned for hours on that rooftop, while the water rose and threatened to engulf them. They are taken from their perilous perch by one of the heroic men of the Red Cross, who searched without rest to rescue such helpless families. Scenes like this are repeated hundreds of times in the flood area, for the search does not end until everyone is accounted for, until every man, woman, and child who can be saved is reached and rescued. But saving them is not enough. They must be brought to where there is food and shelter. Their pilgrimage of misery may plunge them into the depths of despair, but one and all, the refugees, be they 10 or 100 or 1,000, know the heart of America will see them through, restoring hope and health, giving them a new start in life. Food and shelter are their first needs, and the Red Cross sees that none go hungry. To these waifs of disaster, the organization is indeed a haven of refuge. Not only does the Red Cross feed them, but cares for them tenderly. Truly the greatest mother. Under the able leadership of Admiral Cary T. Grayson, National Chairman, the Red Cross is always mobilized and ready. Our Chief Executive, who is also President of the American Red Cross, confers with Admiral Grayson on future plans of service to our nation. For from the President of the United States, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, to one of the youngest members of the Junior Red Cross, this great army is enrolled beneath the banners of freedom and mercy for all humanity. The greatest mother marches on.